Okay, so what we're doing right now is a CMA like deliverable for a customer, which we don't often do, but there may be occasions where you need one. And when that happens, you want it to look professional. So the MLS has a tool set built into it that you can use for this purpose. And that's what we're going to walk through right now. Step one, which we've already completed, is we did a search. We used the normal valuation process, 20% larger, 20% smaller, 10 years older, 10 years newer, all of that. That gave us 17 comps. We discarded 4 of them because they weren't comparable for various reasons. And so now we have the 13 that we want to include. So I'm just going to click on this CMA button down here, and it's going to take me into a wizard. Now, if you're doing this under your logins, your clients will be in here if you've created them. If you haven't created them yet, click on Create New Contact. So Morgan, I'm going to just pretend I'm doing it. I'm going to send you the document that comes out of this so that you can create it yourself, because the problem with my document is it's going to have my name on it, and you want to recreate it so it has your name on it. Does that make sense? So we'll just pretend it's for John and Amy.
Or you can make it for me.
Yeah, you are a customer. So for those of you watching this, the group of pages that you see right here are for the Color Picture CMA Tour, which is a different video. But that's the one that I use a lot more often, because that's the process by which we convince a seller to be realistic in their pricing. But this is a CMA that's a deliverable, so we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to have cover sheet with our photo, the comps. I like to include a lot of the charts. So first, let me scooch this down.
Deliverable, you mean you email it?
Pardon?
Deliverable, you mean to email it to them?
Yeah, exactly. So you use these up arrows and down arrows, and I've managed to screw this up already. So let me fix cover sheet.
You're just choosing what to add on the left, right? And then
Right.
putting them in the order you want them on the right.
Exactly.
Shoot me a copy of what you include on that deliverable CMA.
You're going to be able to shoot a picture of it on the screen, and or you can get the recording as well.
I have a CMA too if we have time.
Yeah, I got Dawn is up next, and then we'll come to you. We will have time. Now, these static ones, Morgan, are like educational pieces. So it's not a bad idea to include a bunch of them, because it makes your deliverable thicker and more powerful, I guess, if it's 60 pages or whatever.
Right, right. Like kind of not really like appendices, but extra information for the client to peruse.
So if you guys want to take a picture, here's the typical list of what I would include. And then we're going to move over to the subject. And we have, oh shoot. Did anyone make a note of the old listing number?
Was it her property number?
Yeah.
The MLS? Shoot. I started making the other numbers, but I don't think I grabbed hers. Sorry.
We're going to see if I can. She was 8450 40th, right?
That's close. can't remember what the address was. We're 8456 and she, yep, that's her. Yep.
8451 is off by 1 digit.
Oh yeah, odd.
I grab that and close that tab. I hope that that doesn't screw up my CMA. All right. So that all auto-populated. Cover, so you can fill in her address, right? 845 40. Your info. Comps, we want all 13.
Yes, I want to see them. Can I see all of them there?
Yeah, you did see them, right?
I didn't take a screenshot of all of the.
You're going to get this document.
Oh, okay, okay. That's right, that's right. I keep thinking I'm going to be recreating it, so.
Yeah, no, I had you shoot a screenshot.
I didn't get a picture either yet.
Yeah, I'll CC anybody that wants it. So you can make adjustments in these comps, right? Like I could say, this one has a much better view than mine, right? So now the price just went up by 100,000. Or I could say, my view is better than the subject's, and now it went down by 50,000.
That's right. You adjust for the subject property, right? So if the subject property is better, then you subtract from the comparable. If the subject's property is worse, then you add to the comparable.
Other way around.
Other way around. Shit, sorry.
Yeah. So if the comp is superior, you adjust downward. If it's inferior, you adjust it upward. Like think of it in the context of just square footage. If the comp is 3,000 square feet and it sold for $1.2 million and mine's 2,000 square feet, I should adjust the $1.2 million number downward because my house is smaller, right?
Okay.
Pricing. So this is where you actually type, right? So based on the comps in the area that are most similar in market value. I would say hers is probably 750 to 800.
Even though mine just sold for 825.
Based on the comps, yeah.
Huh.
Don't forget, we're not talking about what the comps sold for. We're talking about what they priced at. So let me keep typing and maybe it'll get clearer.
Okay.
The key is to develop this. Oh,
Right. Right. In case they are actually going, sorry, I'll stop talking now.
Yeah. No, you're
Right.
So
In case they do decide to list, you want to get them ready for pricing aggressively and not give them a false sense of, oh, I'm going to list it $1 million.
Right, exactly.
Right, you want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I have that, I give that speech a lot, which is, you know, hey, we went wine tasting yesterday, and I was talking to a stranger I just met about this market, and I pointed to, there was 3 of us standing there, and I said, so let's say Joe's house lists for 600 and sells for 700, and then you think, well, and my house is even nicer than Joe's, so I'm going to list for 725. Well, the only reason Joe got 700 is because he started at 600. And so a very good and skilled realtor will recognize that it's where you start that drives where you finish, right? And then I'll oftentimes, to sort of make that point, cite the fact that 25% of the listings on the MLS right now have been on the market for over 30 days. 25%. That's a couple thousand homes, right? And most of those are because the sellers did what I just described. And they go, oh, yeah, I don't want to make that mistake.
Yeah, what you said, Ed, seems to be a real, really important as far as because it's really counterintuitive to most of the time way people have sold things in the past. You know, like when you sell a car or anything else, most people, and including with homes, they have this attitude like, well, you know, I can always come down, but I can't go back up. Right. You know what I mean? Versus it's completely different. And that just seemed to me the most difficult thing to get across to people, is that it's not that way, you know. And it was a classic example of my line listing was we asked too much, and classic, it just sat there. And then next thing you know, we were getting the low ball investor, all that stuff. So
a lot of sellers think that because of what Mark just said about how kind of the typical traditional approach is, I'm going to start here so that I have room to come down. But the problem in this market is there's so many buyers who see a listing and automatically assume it's going to sell for more. And so when they see your house overpriced, they go, man, it's not even a good deal right now, and it's going to sell for more. I'm not even going to go look at it. And then you have no traffic, no showings, and no offers.
Right.
So we want to avoid that mistake. So.
And you're right. I was looking for some homes, homes in the north end of Queen Anne up to Northgate and over for this lady yesterday. And yeah, the listings were either within a week or they were over 30 days. Yeah. It was just one of the two. Yeah. And a lot of the really nice homes, but they were just, you could just tell they were over. Yeah.
So just to wrap up this recording, I clicked finish.
Right, because it is still recording, right? Okay,
yeah.
Good, yes.
And then I use CMA rather than email because I like to write flowery emails, and I like my signature to be perfect and have all the links to my other websites and blah, blah, blah. So I'll just download the PDF version of it.
That way, instead of sending it in an automatic email, you send the attached PDF in your own email that you compose.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the MLS does have an email signature for me, but it's nothing like the one I have in Gmail.
Right.
So this, as you might imagine, is a big document.
It's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll let that run. I'm going to actually stop the recording, but the recap is once you've downloaded it, you're going to craft an email that points out, hey, I've created this report for you. Hopefully you find it useful. I've made some assumptions because I haven't yet seen the inside of your home. If you want a truly accurate valuation, in fact, I could show you, I have a templated email for this. I go in here to templates.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Well, when you send it to me, I can just use that as the template too, right?
Yeah. Okay, this market analysis on your home.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for reaching out, blah, blah, blah. And attached documents, you'll find comparable sales I've selected. My sense is that they're pretty similar, but I'll be able to tighten up my valuation once I see the inside of your home. In the meantime, take a look over the attached document. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not going to do this.
Perfect.
I also invite you to review my moving concierge program where we'll remodel your home with our money. Blah, blah, blah. And so all I'm doing is, Seattle. And then I put the address up here, which I've now forgotten. Was it 8451?
8451 40th, yep. Mm-hmm.
Street?
40th, 41st Ave, 40th Ave Southwest. I had to think of what mine is before.
Yeah. And then Kim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I just attach it as a PDF to that.
Do you ever have to reduce the file size? Is it ever too large with all those images and stuff?
Oh, through an error. I haven't had to.
Okay.
Do you have a trick for doing that?
Well, there's a couple things that you can use that are online web for free reducing of a PDF, unless you have Adobe Acrobat Pro, then you just go file, save as, reduce size PDF, and it just reduces the file size. Because a lot of times, I mean, I imagine the images in the MLS are small file sizes, so even though there's a lot, it shouldn't matter, but yeah, there you go.
I think most email attachments can be 25 megs. I don't know. That's what I've seen.
Right, yeah. I mean, but then it can be slow for someone else to open it. And
I think it says reduce image size, but I can't remember. Could be both.
I've been doing these PCRs and they're like 65 megabyte files. And it drives me crazy.
what's a PCR?
Property condition report.
Ah,
So it's
isn't
like
that what? Oh
so
no.
look at this, Morgan. It's a 117 page document.
Nice.
That's overkill.
No, do you remember Bob? Shoot, I can't remember his name now. Bob Sink. He did a training on listing CMAs, and he said you want it to be like a phone book that you drop on their desk.
Poof.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.